Welcome back to another episode of Fruit Till 5. I have changed my name back to Fruit Till 5 because it's a lot easier on me while I go to school, finish up school, and the wedding's over, so it's just easier. But yeah, I want to definitely talk about these Paris attacks and give my 2 cents as a vegan. I did change my profile picture to the Paris flag, blue, white, and red for a few days to show support. I don't think any attacks are correct and right, but I think they are orchestrated, and I'll explain that later. But first, I do want to agree with the vegan points that if we weren't eating slaughtered death and crazy immoral things to do with animals, if we weren't eating that on a daily basis for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack, I definitely think that the world would be a more compassionate place. But therein lies another answer, doesn't it? Why do we feed such junk food to the electorate and the citizens? So we don't want a bunch of intelligent, empathetic citizens, right? You want the kind of crazy, outlandish citizens so that they'll back you when you go and you do military spending. Now, military spending is the huge hit of this video, and so down below I have plenty of links, but let's just sum it up real fast. You had the U.S. attacked on 9/11. They had help, sorry, they did. And then we had the Patriot Act passed, and so that's what we'll be comparing this Paris thing to today. So first thing I want to point out is that the Patriot Act allows you to be condemned and thrown in prison without evidence. And that's against the law of the land, the U.S. Constitution. Okay? And it's a big folly of our government to not have amended the Constitution to reflect that. And so they still have arguments back and forth about what's right and wrong regarding this this legislation. So below I have links to Susan Landauer's book, and as well as an interview where she goes through the kind of corrupt system that had called her names and wouldn't let her prove herself. And what she was trying to say is that we didn't have to have a war in Iraq, is that she could have evaded the whole thing, and then what happened was 9/11, and then we went into Iraq with false pretenses, and all of that is in there if you want to look into it. But the main thing is that Patriot Act. Let's take a look at that. She could not know about the charges against her. She couldn't know about the evidence against her. How can you defend yourself from anything without knowing the evidence against you? And this is not just our own agents in the United States. This is worldwide. You have a lot of governments that have a lot of work to do to keep up military spending and to keep up control of resources and money supply. A big thing is about the banks. You'll notice a lot of the countries that are being attacked and messed with maybe not having a Rothschildian national bank. So you have that effort as well. So I want to also point you down to, of course, the Paris attacks. Paris attacks are not good. It was not a good thing. Of course not. But I think it was allowed to remove civil liberties. Why do you say that, Nicole? Oh, okay, because New York Times just let out a article, which is also listed down below, but I'm going to read it to you right now. The president of France, Mr. Hollande, I don't know if that's how you say it, I'm sorry, called for quick action by Parliament on new legislation that would give the government more flexibility to conduct police raids without a warrant and place people under house arrest without a warrant. He said that he would seek court advice on broader surveillance powers, and he called for amendments that would enable the state to take exceptional security measures without having to resort to the most drastic options currently in the Constitution. So they're setting it up like it's a positive thing, but it's a grab for power. And we had the Patriot Act right after our grab for power. A grab for power right after what happened to us with the Twin Towers. So what you have is basically countries trying to get more power over you and I. And it's not really you and I. I also put a link down below to the audio version of 1984. If you read that book or listen to it, it's not really the population, you and I on YouTube, that they're concerned about, because we're going to talk about it, we're going to get angry, we're going to discuss it, and we might even go to a protest or two and try to take action that way. But what happens is that these sweeping powers are really to keep the workers under their thumb, like Susan Landauer. Susan wanted to come out and say, look, all this is baloney. And if you go ahead and further research her, she has a whole talk on the 9/11 attacks and how they were helped along. And they were. You cannot have a building free fall from a fire. It's just not physically possible. That's why there's firefighters and engineers and ex-CIA agents all coming together to try to tell you and me that the story that we heard is baloney, right? So just really fast, I just want to continue on. 1984 makes the point that the electorate, the voters, are just useless badgers in the book. But the control mechanisms are really to keep control of the people that work within the state, within the bureaucracy, you know? Because what if one of these people all of a sudden, you know, wanted to come out and tell people what's going on here? And a lot of them have. A lot of whistleblowers. You have Sibel Edmonds, Classified Woman. You have a lot. Many who I cannot think of right now. But so the main thing to remember is that a lot of this is aimed at getting you and I angry and saying, oh, let's go blow them up. But we should really approach this with more research. Today, in today's day and age, every voter can get online and research more about what is going on here. And you can start with these links below. There's a couple reports on Paris that I found to be wonderful. There's also Press for Truth, who's on YouTube, who does a good job of finding out some things. But you should know, and I should know, and we should at least build our own opinion upon our own research. And I have started a Facebook page that kind of is to promote personal research upon these geopolitical matters, because I think that is what this is coming to. Us as voters, we're really going to have to start to like pay attention to all of this. So I'll leave that link below if you want to like our page. It's called One Intelligence, where we seek to, you know, clarify issues and debate the issues without using bad words or anything like that. But we should, as an electorate, as communities and citizens of this world, we should know about things. We should debate them hotly and passionately. But for most of all, we should know about what's going on here. All right. Take care, my friends, and I will see you soon.